This is my third time filming this video in the past hour, so better fucking work. But at least I get to talk about an eclipse that I prefer over just about any other eclipse I have lived through, so. If you're excited to learn all about what we can expect for this solar eclipse in Gemini, make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss what the stars have in store for you. Firstly, I'm going to describe the overall gist of the energy for this, then how it is applying to the US chart and some financial markets, which, speaking of the markets, if you want to check out Swan Bitcoin down below, safest, easiest, trusted place to stack sats and dollar cost average Bitcoin on a regular basis. Use the link below, deposit a bit into Bitcoin, and you will get $10 of free Bitcoin, which is just up only in the long term, in my opinion. So not financial advice or sponsored, but if you want a safe place to stack sats, check it out down below. And if you have not already seen your June forecasts for the month ahead, and those are already out, or if they're coming out, do make sure you check back to my channel to catch up on what your rising sign and the collective has in store for the entire month. So this solar eclipse in Gemini is June 10th, 2021 at 6:53 a.m. Eastern Time. It's a solar eclipse, so the sun and the moon are together. It's a new moon on steroids, basically. They're also very close to Mercury retrograde at 20 degrees of Gemini, which is nearby Rahu, the north node of the moon, at 10 degrees of Gemini. So it is a solar eclipse, and that means it's on the nodes of the moon. You can check out what the nodes mean at my playlist on this, because they are the south node, big volume down indicator, and the north node, big volume up indicator. Sun, moon, Mercury are all on the north node. So this is a lot of emphasis on obsession, go, go, go. In the myth of Rahu and Ketu, Rahu is the head of the dragon. It is insatiable, it is going, 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 it is always eating, never digesting. So there's aggressive forward movement with this new beginning, this solar eclipse, and it's like a plane taking off with that huge amount of engine power. It is inherently destructive with the amount of like engine power that it's letting out, but it's in order to get somewhere and to form a new beginning. So it's not like a lunar eclipse where it's destruction on a landing, like you are destroying. It's more like destruction on the route to a new beginning. And it's a clean slate that is removing what's around it with so much taking off. And with this happening in the sign of Gemini, it's mental, it is intellectual, it is a social new beginning that with Mercury retrograde involves a certain amount of reevaluating or realizing we might not know everything that we think we do, and that carves the way for something new, which just really reminds me of this plane metaphor because it's in Gemini and on the plane, like it's delayed, there's a problem with the tech, like maybe the lights aren't working and so they have to call in the engineer to fix that, and it's uncomfortable, you're in like the middle seat in the back row of economy, but it's powerful and you're going up somewhere high above where you are. And like I explained in my Sagittarius lunar eclipse video for earlier last month, it's repeating the cycle that started a year ago, where the Sag-Gemini eclipse cycle has coincided throughout history, especially in the US, with social and political divisiveness and then largely like protests or uprisings. So this time the astrology is more preferable, which I'll explain, because Jupiter is bonifying all of the planets in Gemini and all of the planets in Cancer. Jupiter, the planet of abundance and positivity and growth, is at home in Pisces, so it's strengthened and it's more empowered to do what it can, and it is great in being in a superior square to Gemini and Cancer, meaning that it is helping out in a really harmonious way anything in those signs. So there's a lot of benevolence and help, and I think that this is kind of how we've been trapped inside for a year. There's now some reopening, some more chance to travel, and so even as there might be some ideological divisiveness, there's less direct opposition or the desire to directly lash out. Mars and Venus are also together in Cancer. Venus is at 9 degrees, Mars is at 29 degrees, and I do wish that Mars was out of Cancer because Mars is fallen there. Mars wants to take action and be driven and very direct and logical in Capricorn, so in the opposite sign, Cancer, ruled by the moon, it is less directed. It is frustratingly indirect, and Venus in Cancer does help out because Venus being in the same sign is making it a bit easier, but it kind of makes the strong, fierce eclipse energy a bit timid. Like instead of this being a 787 flying from Singapore to LA, it is a two-seater flying from Austin to Houston. But I would still expect some of the ideological fervor even if it is coupled with people like traveling more so right now. So if you already know where this is showing up in your chart and you're interested in sharing where you know that this new beginning is happening, do comment down below. Would love to hear your thoughts around this solar eclipse in your own chart. So in the United States' chart, the sun and the moon are right on top of the United States' natal Mars in the 7th house, and the 7th house in a more mundane context is usually divisiveness, contracts, or known enemies. So usually in the United States' chart, this ties into being on sides of a political aisle, and Mars in the US chart is also ruling the 5th house of leisure or pleasure, and the 12th house of hidden secrets and foreign matters. So it seems like with this eclipse activating the 7th house, which is divisiveness, there's a revelation around 5th house matters, maybe sex, drugs, partying, just being a little over the top, and 12th house connection to hiddenness or foreign matters. I think there is a powerful figure that is divisive across party lines, that is coming out as having done something a bit irresponsible in relation to secrets or foreign matters. So the North Node with the volume up definitely looks very divisive. It's right on the descendant and Uranus of the United States' chart. So it's like a time for reevaluation with that Mercury retrograde of what side we think we're on. Venus and Mars in Cancer doesn't look too threatening, but I do expect divisive social issues, and I find it less overtly provocative and more wanting to be on the right side of the echo chamber, basically. Mars will be close to the United States' Mercury in the 8th house of the markets, and Mercury is ruling the United States' 7th house of what we just discussed and the 10th house of authority. So definitely looks like some confusion or upsetness around financial measures. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another US injection into the economy through stimulus or some other kind of easy money policy that they might be engaging in. But with Mercury retrograde in the chart and Mars transiting over it, it's not well received, or at least there's some arguing. But Venus, fairly close to the United States' Jupiter and Sun in the 8th house, looks like maybe Biden is not the person blamed or kind of implicated in this. Like, it's not him that is getting the brunt of this accusation or this upset, or maybe like the media is just not touching on him right now, because it looks definitely like Venus there is helpful. And with that like in mind, I do, like, people ask me sometimes like, did this happen? Did this come true? And I usually have to throw my hands up and say, I don't know, because who knows what the media is ever covering on these things or what's happening and whatnot. So it makes it hard to confirm or deny, and I prefer to confirm or deny in the financial markets, mostly for my track record. But be wary about what you hear around this time. Mercury retrograde with the fallen Mars is like madness, passive-aggressive madness, but not overt divisiveness. In the New York Stock Exchange's chart, the sun and the moon are square within a degree to the 19-degree Mars in Virgo of this chart, and an eclipse within a degree of the square to a malefic of this chart is not cute. Mars is also within 2 degrees of squaring Neptune in Libra in this chart. Not the cutest financial indicator, and eclipses are generally upheavals. So even though there's not a huge financial focus in this eclipse, I think that with eclipses being usually socially disruptive and that being a mirror for the market, like, yeah, not the cutest, might dump a bit. In the Bitcoin chart, the sun and the moon in Gemini are trine to the Bitcoin Aquarius placements, but more exactly, transiting Mars in Cancer is opposite to Jupiter in Bitcoin's natal Capricorn. But more importantly, transiting Mars in Cancer is opposite to Bitcoin's natal Jupiter at 29 degrees of Capricorn, which they're both fallen. Mars is fallen in Cancer, Jupiter's fallen in Capricorn, and this is not cute. I think that this is a bit of a dumper correction because Venus will have recently trined Bitcoin's natal Venus. Jupiter will have recently crossed Bitcoin's natal Venus, which is really favorable. So I think we're doing a bit of a correction amidst an overall heavy bull market right now. At least I'm filming this in April and I'm hoping that it is as bullish as I am right now. In ETH's chart, it's not the most active. The sun and the moon are lightly sextile some planets in Leo, but Saturn is retrograde within 1 degree of ETH's Mercury, which is a bit more intense and more challenging. So it's not as big of a red flag as I see with Bitcoin, but I still don't like seeing this as much. So if you enjoyed this and you want to check out my Crypto Charted newsletter and Discord group, we discuss financial markets and astrology alongside that on all different types of predictions and analysis. So if you want to get in on Crypto Charted, info is at my website down below. As well, make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, let me know all the things, how you're feeling, what you're planning on, and I will see you in the next one.